James Dodd, welcome to the panel, mate.
Gents, good to be here.
You're here to give us a transfer update courtesy of eToro, mate. So give us a rundown. What's doing?
So for those who are unaware, obviously the transfer window runs from the 14th until the 10th of February. So 11:59 on the 10th of Feb is when it closes. Clubs have been pretty busy as it is. We've seen Ryan Teague was one of those players that Melbourne City brought in. Melbourne City have been very busy at the moment. He joined from KV Mechelen, made his debut against Auckland FC. There are two more players who are going to be joining Melbourne City as well before this transfer window is out. One of those is someone we know very well, Daniel Arzani. We're understanding if this is not announced by the time this programme goes to air, then he will be a Melbourne City player. He's joining on loan for the remainder of the season. So in that discussion, before we get to the third player, you've got Ryan Teague and Daniel Arzani, two former Melbourne Victory players, albeit Daniel Arzani made his name at Melbourne City in this competition. Where do we stand on that? We know both of players are joining to try and force their way into Tony Popovich's Socceroos squad. But do you think, as former players joining a rival on a short-term deal, does that devalue the derbies? What do we think?
Well, I think, a player can only choose from the options they have. And, who's to say that Melbourne Victory do have, in Ryan Teague's case, a lot of midfielders at the moment. They probably weren't looking for a Teague to come back. So, if you're Teague and you want to go to the World Cup, you can only choose from the options you have. And if City's one of the options, you have to take it seriously. Whilst I understand, you do want to create this kind of rivalries and, don't want the players to be mixing. And I completely understand the reasons, but I also think that Melbourne City's culpable in that. They can easily not go for those players as well.
The two Sydney boys, Teague and Arzani, they don't care about the Melbourne derby, obviously. We spoke about this before, that the hostilities in derbies when players should never go, when you talk about Barcelona, Real Madrid, Boca Juniors, River Plate, all this stuff, that is brought on by the crowd and the people. Yeah. We don't really have that culture in Australia where, you are one or the other. Foreigners come to Australia and they go to a football match and they go, why isn't it segregated?
Yeah.
Because we don't have that culture where we have that hatred. It's a match. We go and we do, there is a small pockets that would hate it, but it isn't as fervent as it is overseas. And, Tommy's right. If that's the only option and you want to play in a World Cup, get there.
But will we ever have that culture if this keeps happening? It reminds me of last season when the players before a Sydney derby, some Wanderers and Sydney FC players were playing golf together.
Yeah, that's
and it's
too far, yeah.
Of course you're allowed to play golf together, but I think you are obligated, to respect the rivalry a little bit. And having said that, you can't make an assessment unless you know what options they had, as you said, Tommy. But it reminds me also of something that Bruce Jitte said on the Suited and Booted podcast recently, which was when he was coming back from Turkey to the A-League, he had two options: Melbourne Victory or Gold Coast United. And because he was a former Adelaide United player, he basically ruled out Victory. He's like, I can't go there. And
being from the Gold Coast, great choice.
The other option was obviously sensational, as we all know. But I just think we risk diminishing the rivalry. I don't blame anyone here. It's not anyone's made a mistake, but I just think collectively we just need to recognise that for fans, some fans, more than probably you'd imagine, Macca, they do care about this stuff.
They do, 100%. Yeah. But we also saw when the coach from Melbourne City, PK went to Victory. Most of the Victory fans didn't take to him because of that rivalry. So I think it depends on the player and the situation and all that kind of stuff, and the coach as well, because when PK came for 7 weeks, half of them were just like, we don't want him. And when he left, they were like, we knew you were going to do this to us.
And there's only 12 teams. If you start crossing teams off because you don't want to go there, you're not going to have many teams left to choose from.
It's difficult. I don't envy the players when they're in those situations.
The third player we're going to be talking about, obviously, just very briefly, Marcus Eunice, we're expecting he's going to be joining Melbourne City on loan as well, which is a young player who struggled for game time, change of coach over in Denmark where he is with Brøndby. He's coming back, 6-month loan deal, get some minutes. Not expecting any World Cup recognition or anything like that, but obviously with him, it's more about trying to get his feet on the pitch and actually get some minutes, and if he's not going to get game time where his current club is, go somewhere else.
Were the Wanderers in the mix there? I don't know, but they should have been.
If they're not,
and
it's crazy.
Good for City with the ACL as well, has to be said.
Yeah. More depth.
Yeah.
Another player in a very interesting position, Ryan Fraser. Now, Southampton own him at present. He's got 6 months left on his deal in the Championship. He's going to be joining, we think, Western Sydney Wanderers on a loan deal until the end of the season. Now, Premier League pedigree, 31, a good age bracket. Someone who's very talented, very reliant on his pace. He can make things happen. He's been in Sydney at the moment. Tommy, you know him well because you would have played with him.
Yep.
But Lads, how strange is this that you've also got a position like Hiroshi Ibasuki where you've had a coach who's actually signed him, the coach has gone in stage.
Yeah.
Also, you've now got Ryan Fraser, who would have no doubt been talking to the people at Western Sydney Wanderers and been told what his role's going to be. He's coming in with a completely different coach if he does actually end up signing for them.
Well, I think any new coach that comes in, I'm pretty sure it'll be a clean slate for everyone, which is sometimes can make it easier as a new player coming in because you're just on equal footing to everyone else in the squad all of a sudden. But talking about Ryan Fraser, he is a fantastic player. When I first signed at Ipswich, he was probably the standout player in that season for Ipswich Town. In the 2018-19 season, he actually was second in assists in the Premier League behind Eden Hazard, who was number one. So, I mean, his track record speaks for itself. He's got immense quality. I haven't seen him play for a few years, but if he's anything like what he was, 3 or 4 years ago when I last saw him play, I think it's going to be great for the Wanderers. He likes to hug the touchline on the left side and come in onto his right foot. Great delivery into the box and scores goals. So I think it's a great signing if that's true.
And the fact that he's 31, not 36, 37, he's in his prime.
He's been playing 16 games as well. He's not as if he's been frozen out. He's been on the bench every single week. He has featured for Southampton this year, and it reminds me actually, Vince, of Amor Layuni when he came in. We've seen sometimes the January transfer window can be a bit hit and miss. People get desperate, but when it does work and you bring someone in with pedigree like that, I mean, Layuni for the short spell he was at Wanderers was one of the best players in the competition. So maybe the Wanderers are hoping that they can repeat the trick and Fraser can be that player.
And if they're not careful, if he comes in and he has 5 or 6 great games, I think every A-League team might be coming to look for him next season. So, I think they should be watching his next few games closely, and if he does well, maybe look to lock him up.
So we're going to get on to Nick D'Agostino. There are some quick hits that we can go through as well. Nathaniel Blair has joined the Mariners on a deal until the end of the season. They're also looking to bring in a Japanese forward. That's at the visa stage at the moment in the Mariners. So there's some exciting stuff going on there despite the bad week that they've had as a club. Stefan Kolakovski's joined Perth Glory on a deal until the end of the season as well. But Nick D'Agostino, another player like we mentioned at the top with Ryan Teague and with Daniel Arzani coming back to try and force his way into Tony Popovic's plans for the World Cup, if he can get himself there. We know the qualities that Daggers brings back to the A-League, the show reel that he's got. Yeah. A different type of forward as well, Macca. It's a loan deal until the end of the season from Viking. A different type of profile forward to what they've got at Brisbane already.
Yeah, exactly. He is the profile of being strong and aggressive, fits very well, but he's also very quick, loves to run in behind, stretch defences, and he's got an all-round capability to score goals, as his highlight reel shows. Yeah. He can score bombs, he can run into the box to get the tap in, he's good and strong in the air. I think that's a good move because they have struggled to score goals at Brisbane, and I think that little change in their dynamic going forward could help them to unlock defences. And
create more chances because they haven't been creating too many chances for the likes of Vidic and Roos so far this season, and he will definitely make them a lot better. But I think there's how many chances will he get? That's also going to be a big question for Brisbane.
Yeah, I think he's in a shootout for a World Cup spot with Mitchell Duke, to be honest. They're both competing to be that sort of more powerful striker, that target man kind of operator. I think he fits Brisbane Roar this season under Valkanis brilliantly. Yep. The ethos, and he's a Queenslander, let's not forget. So a good signing there. Dottie, thanks very much. You'll be back next week to host the show because I won't be. I'm going to miss, I think, the next 6 weeks. Life's tough. I'm going to Europe to cover the Winter Olympics and beforehand do a little bit of, football stuff in London and Italy.
I feel pretty sorry for you.
I have some good yarns when I get back.
Violins out,
haven't even mentioned my holiday in Sicily at the end.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, really difficult.
Unbelievable.
I think I'll survive. So,
looking forward to it.
Thanks, Dottie. Look after these. Well, yeah. Good luck with that, is all I'll say. For now, though, we're going to hear a little bit more from Nick D'Agostino on him joining Brisbane Roar.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, a lot of nostalgia coming back. Obviously this is the club I started my career at, so yeah, very, very pleased to be back. I've had a lot of competition, but throughout my whole career I've had a lot of competition. No matter what club I was at, there's always been competition for that number 9 spot. So I like competition. I don't mind it at all. It creates a healthy environment to be in. You always wanted to push yourself to be the best, and yeah, no different coming back here. Obviously, like I said, the goal is the World Cup, but day in, day out, it's Brisbane focused. Obviously, like I said, I want to play games as soon as possible and as many minutes as possible and score as many goals as I can. So, yeah, all the focus is on that and just helping the team in any way I can.